In this video, I'll explore my thoughts, such as they are, about investing and partnering in some of the finances and stages. So, in broad terms, my goal is to have Successful Landscaper be highly profitable in terms of paying all of its expenses of setup, growth, expansion, and pay back investors somewhere between 500 and or 5 and 20 times original capital invested. And to be able to have probably at least 2 stages of investing in 10X Landscape, and at each point be able to either separate or continue. The reason for that is I'm looking at a 10-year picture and possibly beyond, with the idea that I'm happy to donate my time 100% until this is extremely profitable and able to pay off all debts and investments, because I'm not interested in the money. I'm interested in providing a 10X experience, both for my own landscape company and other landscapers and clients around the world, and the money will be there very profitably. The easiest format that I would want to buy as a landscape contractor is to pay between $99 and $450 a month, based on how many employees I had and what features that I was using, 90% of which would be pure profit to the company. And so if you look at 10,000 landscapers using this and $300 a piece, you're looking at $36 million a year in mostly free cash flow, with perhaps $3 million of initial capital to build the app. The most tricky part of the whole thing is to make it self-scalable. So affiliate marketing, partnering with the best landscapers in the field, and putting 100% focus on this being a 10X improvement for all stakeholders, particularly the landscaper next to the client, even if it's 5 times better for the client, they'll use it. Even if it's double, as twice as good for the client, they'll use it. But the landscaper has got to be the one that's really keen for the client to use it and for their crew to use it. And we could have some landscapers using it with their crew, but not the client. We could have some landscapers using it just in their own company for marketing, etc. We could have some clients using it and not hiring landscapers. But it's got to be a 10X improvement for the landscape professional. I would love to be paying $450 a month for these features, and it would instantly make not only 3 times profit, but save me, I'd say, 70% of my stress as a business owner. It would be really exciting to make the tutorials. It's just a terrific thing. My thought is that it's important at each stage of investment to get to know one another and start off with at most a 5% share in the company, so that if it's not a good fit, there can be a buyback framework where I can find another investor for your stake if it's not a good fit for either one of us at an agreed upon buyout rate, and that if it is a good fit, then my preference would be not to have more than 4 investors over time. It doesn't require that much initial capital, to fund $3 million. I'm quite thrifty and clear about what I want done. I've worked with graphic designers in Singapore, etc., that cost $10 an hour for developing a lot of my graphics. And I have a very good, clear sense of the starting point. It's a very new experience, and so the key is to, from my perspective, design it the way I and my clients and my crew love to work with it. Emphasize the feedback, protocol where change and modification can be made to either create divergent versions where there's just different menu options and this group likes it this way and this group likes it this way, or to simply shift the entire product in alignment with the majority, whether that happens to coincide with my approach or not, using that voting protocol. I think it's likely that 70% of it would be pretty optimal for business owners, clients, employees, etc., and for the remaining 30% to self-adjust using that voting protocol. My number one goal is to see that a long-term vision focused on quality is sustained. If there's a good investing experience in the 10x landscape point, then at the point when that's shedding lots of free capital, then that can either be a divergent point, or good relationships in investing can take it into the other areas of 10x plumbing, 10x building. One of my favorites is 10x therapy, having watched just how inefficiently most clients and therapists relate together. It'd be really great to create a more effective paradigm for healing, diagnosis, and therapy. But that's then another stage, and then the stage that will probably require the most money, but can probably be self-generated by multiple 10x apps generating tens of millions of dollars of profit each year, is the larger 10x well-being framework, in which each person develops a trusting and trustworthy relationship with the app by sharing data and watching how the transparency of their metadata leads directly to efficiencies of well-being in a way that will create the single biggest body of accurate, nuanced data on the planet, with which then I think will provide the single most valuable advertising relationship, which, rather than thrusting it onto the client, can be a self-chosen thing, where either their advertisers can provide all of the bandwidth and basis for their use of the app and all the benefits, where they can negotiate and say, I'd like to be advertised by this person on a case-by-case basis, where they can pay a monthly fee for, for various services, but where no one gets their direct data, but rather the app connects through metadata. Advertisers that want to connect with someone, for example, who has genital herpes, that's not public information. But, for example, an individual user can say, would you like to take this survey in order to receive $100 of credit on the app, which could just be like 13 months of usage of the app. It'll take 10 minutes and it'll be 100% confidential. Well, you might have someone fill out that they had genital herpes, that it came 3 times a month or 3 times a year, whatever it was, that it's 1 to 10 painful, and they're X motivated to deal with it. Done. They get their $100 of credit. The app now has metadata, which advertisers of various herpes medication can have, and the client can pick to get apps or advertisement based on metadata with no confidential information shared and no one knowing what's added, they can select and get a supply. This advertiser would like to show you their ad. If you'll watch this for 30 seconds, you'll get $20 of credit towards your usage of the app. Or it can be, I want no ads and I want to pay a subscription for this and this. All of these are 10 times better than the options available to people today. It's incredibly important to make it clear that absolutely no one will have access to the app and to personal information of any kind that is not designated by the person. They can have an invisible profile where only their friends and family. They can have this is my occupation, that's the only thing that's public, and my website for my business. They can pick everything. And as they enter data, they can pick where that data goes in that circle of rings with no manipulation. Just the sole goal of making this the most valuable data-driven experience for each individual. And my own bias is towards slow methodology with people that give a damn, and using as much objective data from the user and providing as much value to the landscaper, to the plumber, to the homeowner, to the individual, each step of the way, and learning. And working with people for whom delivering that value is a rewarding and meaningful thing. It's incredibly easy in the long term to make 10 times, 20 times, 50 times investment. But that's not what's driving me personally. That's an offshoot of the fact that this can provide more value to each of the people it touches than anything that I'm seeing on the horizon. And I believe that for an intelligent and purpose-driven individual, this is an opportunity of a lifetime to participate in. And what's most exciting to me about this amount of free cash flow is being able to personally funnel a large amount of my share into a nonprofit that's developed to explore 10x thinking and 10x ideas, beginning with the whole paradigm of how to make a nonprofit 10 times more potent and effective than any of the nonprofits that I've encountered. It's very disappointing trying to see exactly what happens with your money in a nonprofit. And so this is, really an opportunity to partner and see beautiful, good, excellent things come to life that for the most part can easily generate far more wealth than it takes to sustain them. But in areas where things need to be seeded and started, that it can generate some capital to do so.